Well, hello. Welcome to VIPKID Newbie, where I am the newbie telling you what it's like to be a newbie. Okay. This one's about props, starting with blending. And electronic blending is what I've come up with. So I have this. A ot, ot, p, ot, p, ot, p, ot. Pot. That is kind of fun to do. And when I did it in Mach 1, they complimented and said, oh, that's really good blending. So every time there's blending, where you've got to, this is what I pull out. And it seems to work. This is actually an app I downloaded from the Apple Store. This is an iPad mini, and it was $5. Now, granted, if I hadn't already had the iPad, which cost about $300, I wouldn't do this. But what I'm saying is there are programs like this. I mean, it's basically magnetic letters program. And you can buy real plastic magnetic letters in a magnetic background and do this. Of course, you run out of letters. Here I have as many A's as I need and as many B's. I never run out. And I think it's kind of fun. And you can do this. That might get their attention. But that's something I use for blending that, well, I like it and people said it's good. Another prop that I'm doing a little differently from what I saw on other YouTube, I'm using these kind of letters. This is actually from the dollar store, the banners, kind of like that. But I cut it out, so I have 26 of these. Originally, I spent $1 on these at the dollar store, and no, these aren't the right ones. Oh, yes, they are. Yes. I just didn't think you could see them that well. Now, granted, they've got a little picture on there, but, this versus this, I think this is a lot more clear. It's also capital and small letter is clear. I just think these are better, so I'm retiring these. They only cost $1. I ended up also buying the number ones, which I have not really, I've used them like once. I had used that one. But again, it's small number. Now, granted, you get a picture. I'm kind of looking for a better card than that because I think it's so small. But anyway, I've got these. Also got the shapes one, which I have not used at all. It's like square, star, octagon. Just thought I might use those, and I never have yet. Remember, I'm a newbie, so we're talking like 3 weeks into it, 4 weeks into it. I haven't used those yet. Other things I've been using are photographs. And see, where's another photograph? If you're talking about time, putting up a clock, usually they have a picture of a clock there or a picture of a horse, but it maybe is a cartoon, or maybe just having a different picture and a photograph helps. It makes it seem richer experience. I like to put these up and it seems like they do some good. They keep the kids' attention. They keep their attention. Okay. Another thing that I've come up with are, well, I'll tell you what happened. On YouTube, everybody says use these, the dollar whiteboard, right? This stinks. I mean, I put bright on this and I can't get it off. I have to just go get alcohol and a cotton swab to get it off at all. And I have to try. So I showed them this in my first interview to say I had one. That's probably all I'm going to do with that. Alternatively, I got a clipboard, and these are laminated pages. You can have as many as you want. So you can just, do your writing, pull it off, you got another one. So you could just do as many as you needed, and then clean them off when you're finished teaching with alcohol and a cotton swab. I mean, I try to clean them off well, but that way you can just have as much as you want. You don't have to worry about erasing until you're over. And that is what I use instead. Now, kind of similar to that, I ran into, and this was actually a suggestion from somebody else on YouTube. We're talking about the birds and the mammals. It's a Venn diagram, birds, mammals, what they have in common. Kind of summarizes this rather than having birds and mammals separately. This actually kind of makes it a little easier. It's a diagram, right? And of course, I could have drawn that on this, but this is just going to be there for a while. I'm going to erase it. And this, I thought I might reuse it. So what I've got here is actually white poster board. You go to Walmart, and the basic white poster board is 33 cents. And you trace out 8.5 by 11, typing page on there, and you get about 6 per sheet. So then you buy $1 worth, that's 3, so 3 times 6 is 18. And then usually I cut them in half. This is a normal flashcard for me. This is a full page, this is a half page. It's usually, doing this size. But notice, it's about the same as this, but it's permanent. And I found that having to pull things up, it does help, especially sometimes when there's kind of a complicated table or something. Having it written down differently so we can keep referring back to it has been helpful. I did do one with a program. This is a program, going, first person, second person, third person. I eat, we eat. You eat, you eat. First, it's I, we, you. I'm pointing to someone else, and you. I'm pointing to a group that's not me. And there's, he eats, a single person. That isn't the person I'm talking to, it's somebody over there. And then they eat, a group over there. Anyway, this has helped me with these. And since I did it with a program, I went ahead and laminated it. And you notice there's usually a lot of times there's only one that's different. Everything's eat except for this one that adds an S. Now here's one for the ones that are a little different where they add the ES instead of S. Again, everything's the same except ES. And if you end in these letters, that's usually what happens. And if it's not, like I did this originally with go, but then most recently I was doing touch, so you can just mark it out and write the other word on there if you want. And now you can reuse these. But those have been helpful to me. And let's see, this I use to introduce myself and say I'm Teacher Ben. This helps me tell them to draw. If I'm doing this, pencil, draw, that actually has been useful. Another thing that's been really useful is actual things like inside, or having an actual egg, a chicken egg, or an actual apple, or an actual banana. Those have been useful. I've got things kind of like a puppet. This is actually a dog toy. The dog is now deceased. So I've got a decent set of things like this that I can I think I'm using it as a puppet. But, just whenever you kind of want to get their attention, you do this. So let me, what I'm doing right now, so new, it's level 2 and level 3. I've got a level 3 folder, and I'll have a level 2 folder. And as I get props for everything, all those lessons, I'll probably have more than just one folder per level. But right now, that's what I'm doing. So let me just hold up some of the stuff I've got. Got a flashcard. Flashcard. I've shown you that. Photographs. Of course, laminating the photographs makes them look a lot shinier and better. You know, I might later show you that compare one that is and isn't laminated. You'll see quite a bit of difference. You want these laminated. Oh, number line. This is actually a scrap from one of the laminated pictures in it, so I'll just draw a number line on it. Let's see. Giraffe. Count by 10. America. China. Mammals. And I've got a good picture of a bird that I can point out, you know, claws and beak and feathers and wings. Anyway, that's the kind of thing I've been doing at this point in. And I assume that I'm going to collect props for every lesson in levels 2 and 3 and just reuse them once you figure them out. If you get good props, maybe that's true. That may not work out. But we'll see. And also, I mean, I may progress to a different kind of prop, like the flashcards were a progression from just pictures and, you know, letter cards. Maybe I'll have other things I find work really well in the future, and we'll go over them. Possibly when I, you know, get everything I need for level 2 and 3, so I don't really have to look up any new ones. I might post them if people are interested. But anyway, this, by the way, is my reward system. And it's ice cream, you know, Velcro. Sticks with Velcro. But so that's what I have to say about props. It's just what I'm using right now. Maybe you are interested if you're just starting what someone else who hasn't been doing it very long has. I will see you later. I will see you later.